Blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to another video. Welcome to another show. Because I'm doing well, because I'm having a fantastic day. As you can see, I am not ready. I am never ready. I started filming. I was gonna film outside, but then my neighbors, you can see that they're listening to music. So we're gonna be reacting to Papa Meat, right? Latest video about the nepotism.
Sit on down because
A bit loud. Again, you can know that I'm a fan of Hunter. I've been watching a lot of his videos, so I am a fan. This is not the first reaction we do from Papa Meat. I never reacted to a Meat Canyon. I think I prefer reacting to Papa Meat. I do love the Meat Canyon kind of stuff, but it's more a question of liking the creator versus the content. Again, we're doing well because they're having a wonderful Mother's Day, because it is Mother's Day. This video was released 2 days ago, as we do when we usually react to something. If you look at let me start correctly. Even if you look at the first day, right? We have this trustafarian, and this girl, I know her from TikTok and from Snapchat. So I am not new to this concept, but I know next to nothing about the person. So I'm very excited to see this. I'm kind of in a hurry because we got another video to do. I wanted to go outside. I'm gonna be checking out the first couple of comments as we do. Cosplaying as a good person is a perfect description of the relatable wealthy elite. Ooh, it's gonna be political. Use code Papa Meat. This guy has a fire aura about him, almost as if she could control the fire in some capacity. What? I saw somewhere metalhead are nice people cosplaying as mean people, and AP are mean people cosplaying as nice people, and I've never been able to unhear that. Usually true. Okay, so very, very political. But again, I haven't watched the videos, so I'm not sure. So without further ado, let's watch some Hunter, let's watch some Papa Meat, let's enjoy ourselves.
hey, we're talking about the wealthy, baby. But here's the thing: they're hiding in plain sight. You ever see a beautiful?
I again love the visual. The thing that I love about I really enjoy about Hunter's video is, again, I said it once, I said it twice, I said 1,000 fucking times, that it's okay, that it's fine, that it's all just in my mind. So Bring Me the Horizon, is the lighting good, or should I check it out? Sorry about this, they're listening to music hardcore. I made myself some mixed water, energy drink water. I love the fact that he's a visual, he's an artist. I'm not super visual. That's not true. I'm a visual learner, but I'm not a visual prowess. I wouldn't be able to have a artistic point of view as he does. And I think this is so cool that he puts in his video, because we're seeing kind of like, not necessarily how it's complicated. So when you talk about visual, right, you perceive it. Let's take this bottle of olive, right? You see the olive as black, you know, the red pepper on it. There's this black, there's this yellow thing. So visually speaking, you understand that there's 3 colors. There's a glass. Even texture-wise, you understand metal, plastic, olive flesh inside, right? And you understand that because, again, you're familiar with the olive, you're familiar with the glass. The color are pretty simple, but the reality is, if you were to put a design on it, if you were to make something artistic, the easiest way would be like, oh, the olives are actually eyes. Hunter has this capacity. It's very, very visual. It's a lot more fun to watch him. Like the channel that I watch, a lot of the content creator that I watch listening to a stream. I watch while doing something else. I'm more of an auditive watcher than watcher. But maybe I made the effort to watch him, because he put the effort to make it nice visually, and that's a blessing.
Woman, but it looks like she's dressed like a Native American woman. Oh, you ever see a poor kid on the streets of poor?
I love this. Again, super simple. When you look at it, you see what? You see a Hunter who posts himself in Photoshop, almost in a green room, and you rotate the screen. You're seeing a stock photo shoot of the homeless living on the street, and you're seeing the hippie at a costume party, which is super simple visual, but it tells a story.
Portland, walking around with the newest and latest tech, yet he looks like a poor piece of shit. Well, You, my friends, might have come in contact with a
Very South Parky.
trustafarian. Ah, trustafarians. A beautiful new slang that's
I'm gonna guess it. Okay, we know the Rastafarian, which is a mode of life, a culture by the Rastafarian. Is a culture. I think it's a religion, but I'm not sure. Based on Bob Marley. So we said a lot. Trustafarian, I'm gonna guess it's a trust fund baby and Rastafarian together. I'm gonna guess.
come up. Trustafarians is one of my new favorite things to happen online right now. But you're probably thinking to yourself, now, Hunter, what exactly is a trustafarian?
The way he talks, the way he's expressing himself, the way it's just super relatable. I just love this content, and I know I seem like I'm kissing ass, but I actually really enjoy listening to him talk. Just again, when he was talking about cereal, my first, okay, like, the first, I'm gonna be honest, the first video I reacted to, again, I'm a super impulsive guy. This is not about me. This is only a reaction. But the first couple of videos I watched from Papa Meat, I watched him. We're gonna say example. It was a Friday. The Sunday, I'm reacting to the cereal ranking, and again, I'm listening to Papa Meat, and I'm doing something else. I'm doing some clips, whatever the fuck I'm doing. And the cereal video, although I was listening to Papa Meat for like a couple of days already, was the very first one of the very first videos that I physically watched. Not listen to, watch. There's a difference between listening to something and watching something. Big difference. And I just fell in love with the speech that he has, the fact that he was swearing, the fact that he was saying these slaps, or just the fact that he was talking about mascot. To this day, to be honest, I prefer the cereal video to the frozen meal video. That's the two videos that I reacted to. The reason for the cereal video is that it is something I'm more aware of. This video is completely different. We're not talking about food, we're talking about a cultural fact. And that is something I never reacted to yet.
Trustafarian. Let me tell you. A trustafarian is a wealthy young person who adopts an alternative lifestyle incorporating elements from non-Western cultures. You ever see a bunch of white bitches walk around with headdresses or some shit? Yeah, Nick has.
White bitches.
He's like, oh, baby, the dating apps are full of them. It's basically rich kids cosplaying as poor, you know what I mean? Van life. They only walk with their bare feet. You know what I'm talking about? It's just the little things that build up.
So the reality is, I've been looking into van life. I thought it was so cool, and it was looking like van life to me. It's like that he talked about this because to me was a mode of life. Like I don't want to be stuck in somewhere. I want to travel the world as poor as I can be, as poor as I was made to be. So van life are people that are making van, and what is nice is that it seems or seemingly the only cash that they have, they're making content. So if they're good enough, they can have a good van life. And if they're not good enough, it's bad. So let's say you have a job, right? Even if you're a content creator, but you have a job. If your content sucks, you have your job to rely to. If you're a content creator that has multiple things like merch, that has a Patreon, that has a OnlyFans, we just talk about OnlyFans, you can rely on something else than your pure content. But for van life, not a lot you could do. And one of the attractions that I saw for van life was those were broke ass people that were doing what they could and living freely. But then if you look at the price of a van, if you look at the price of a van life, it is extremely, extremely expensive. I don't even drive, and I was like, dude, this could be so fucking cool.
Which, you've probably seen this little hippie duo dancing around that people make a lot of funny memes on. Me and my friends pretending to be poor to go to Coachella. These people have wealthy parents or some kind of wealthy support system that is funding their,
sugar daddy, OnlyFans,
holistic, down-to-earth lifestyle because they're so hip. But really,
what he's talking about is, well, I'm not sure. And Trustafarian, it's also, it made me seem like, dude, these people are living the life, and you feel good for the van people. And I'm not saying as a totality. I'm not talking about every single one of them is the same. I'm talking about the fact that you're seeing this and like, okay, well, what I'm seeing is somebody that's suffering financially, but it's still living his dream. So you're selling me a mode of a lifestyle which is based on simplicity and non-material. Van life is also incredible because you get a van, you have a very restricted space, so you cannot buy, you cannot overconsume. It's a very simple mode of life. But if there's something financing it, then you're not living the true life. I was watching this person, and their rent has been up, and they don't have a really good job. They're in between work, and they got kicked out of their apartment. That's on them. but they've been living in their van and it's out of a need, and of course not. The girl that I'm watching, she's playing the victim. Oh, how could I say no? But the girl, she had 9 months of unemployment, and she had three warnings that you didn't pay your rent. So that's upon you a little bit, but I kind of see the situation. I'm like, dude, this is rough. This is rough. There's this channel that is super super popular, and it's the Outdoor Boys. Outdoor Boys, you're seeing those people, and why I love them so much is because they live outdoor. They talk about survival. You're seeing the dude that has glasses. He looks like a fucking nerd, and you're like, dude, you're not gonna make it. And he does make it. What I love about these guys, they don't make it seem like, oh, dude, we're broke. There's also the same thing with, I'm talking about the van life, but there's also these things with the people that are making cabins in the woods. And you're like, oh, holy shit, you built this cabin on yourself. That's not true, dude. There's a lot of people that goes in between the takes. There's some jump cut. And if you look at the jump cut, they make it seem like it's always going to be put as a faster. And most of these houses aren't built by them. They're built by companies. And they do some small things here and there so they look like they did the whole thing. Yeah.
No repercussions because they know they got mommy or daddy's bank account to back them up. They don't need to worry about stable jobs, which means they have all the time and money in the world to travel and...
I'm sorry, I know I'm cutting a lot, but that's it is exactly. When I about van life, one of the if I know I said why I like that, but one of the aspects that I forgot to talk about, one of the aspects that I really, really enjoy is the fact that there's seemingly, of course, everything is a mode of watching or a question of perception. There's seemingly like the risk of, well, if I don't make it, I took a huge risk. I refinance my home, taking a huge financial risk. I took a plunge and I have to live it. But if there is this safety net, don't sell it to me as I don't have a safety net. Don't sell it to me as I've taken the plunge if somebody's gonna catch you. Don't sell it to me as I'm doing dive when I'm instead bungee jumping. There's this safety and there's no risk involved. For example, if you're jumping, and I'm not saying do it, I'm not saying, but we're seeing a lot of videos of places where there's a lot of tourists that goes to jump from a rock and jump in the water. It's totally safe. Doesn't mean there's no risk involved, but it's safe. And there's still no net. It's like, okay, well, there might be something happening to you. We don't know. The problem with this mode of lifestyle is you're telling me that you're doing something. And I know that the girl she's talking about, there's a lot of or at least the girl is used as a thumbnail. There's a lot of people talking about her, a lot of people saying, who is she? A lot of people call her a nepotist baby. What's a nepotist baby? It's a person that has a place in the company because of the relationship with a higher grade. So for example, daddy owns the firm, I'm gonna be working at the firm. For example, mom's the manager of the firm, I'm gonna be working at the firm. That's a nepo baby. That's somebody that was placed there because their parents are in the music industry, they're in the film industry. So who knows?
Meditate and work on their art, all while giving you advice from the comfort of their tricked out, expensive van. It's always very convenient for people to talk about.
You see the van? And one of the issues that I have is most of these vans that you see, they look like they've been run down, they look old. So a lot of people gotta say that the Volkswagen Villager, which is a Volkswagen that was created in 1893. If you look at the Scooby Mobile, this is it. It's very popular and it's a very solid car that you still see on the road today. But a lot of those, they're gonna say, oh, this is this old car, but no, it was revamped. I look at a car and it was like, I think it was $30,000. And I didn't shop for a van, but I still saw this and I'm like, dude, the fuck?
How easy their life is without being off the grid. I get to meditate and I don't have to work a stable job. I just have my van. Also, my dad has extremely deep pockets with BlackRock. I go to the CEO's BlackRock's house for Thanksgiving dinner. It does.
BlackRock is people behind said quote unquote Illuminati. BlackRocks are a family that owns a lot of banks. One of my new boss from Laval that I was supposed to work at. You talk about the BlackRocks a lot. He was saying that they were behind creating wars. They were behind the Illuminati. If they're real, I don't think they're real. I think it's all made belief. It's just to talk about, just to take out the concern of political being. We're gonna create a group that don't really exist, but if they exist, it's the BlackRock that are behind it. They have a lot of bank. Having a lot of bank is super dangerous because when you have a lot of banks, what you do is super simple. You trade value versus resources, and your value is cash. But when you create cash, for example, right? I'm fidgeting with the knife because I'm interested in that. When I'm interested, I fidget. That's ADHD. For example, I can print bills. By printing bills, what I do is I create this almost unlimited resource of a value that has no value. If my value is I have a forest or wood, there's gonna be time where the wood's not gonna grow anymore, and my old forest is gone. With the money, you just have to print it, and it takes a couple minutes, and you make so much money. Oh, it's raining, so no, I'm not gonna be able to go out. Fuck.
Matter. Let me tell you, how can you get in with your inner chakra? Says Becky from Los Angeles, California. How do I get in to my chakra? Can someone help me access that, please? These people have adopted counterculture as their identity, defined by hedonism and the lack of structure or drive. Oh, essentially what I'm saying is they're modern day hippies. Oh. No one likes hippies, dude. I don't think hippies like hippies.
I love, again, his facial expression. The way he talks, he's very expressive, and the way he talks, he's very... Hunter, to me, biggest quality, the biggest attraction we have to a hunter as a content creator is that a hunter seems like is a friend. It seems like there's this dude who, he's this funny dude in the group. It feels very familiar. It feels very relatable.
Because honestly, it's completely defined by drug use or asocial behaviors and privilege. Which every time I hear the word fucking privilege now, I want to take these long-ass gross fingernails of mine and drive them into my fucking eye sockets and pull them out. It's the only real word that defines the idea of like the
super simple visual, but it still got your attention.
Kind of power that they actually have. Then they're trying to be like, it's all... I mean, come on, man. Whenever. Dad, can you deposit $40,000 in my bank account? Thank you. Who is this? This also translates very well into voluntourism.
I don't know what that is. There's something voluntarily? I don't know.
Another quirky little saying, which is wealthy kids volunteering abroad. Using the aspect of volunteering at various places across the world, it's like vacationing and patting yourself on the back, which is pretty fun.
We're seeing this a lot. So, I went to... So, when I went to grade school, my first school, it was a Christian school. Yes, I wasn't super religious, but it was a good school. And even if you look at the name of the building, the name of the school, they even put what the fuck? No. What the actual fuck? Okay, well, take a break. You see this not yummy though? Strawberry shortcake, you see this? No. I was fucking around. I didn't even know. What the fuck? What the fuck? Cheesecake. That's not what I had.
It's sold to wealthy kids as an opportunity to change the world and discover yourself all at the same time.
Sorry, focus. I was going to this Christian school, and the reality is I didn't come from a wealthy family. My parents were, my father was a blue collar, my mom, she was a secretary in a school, not a school, but a school commission. And there was a lot of kids in my grade. One kid in particular, we knew he had cash. He had cash like no tomorrow. He was flashing a lot of shit, and I think he knew that he had cash, and he just saw himself as better. Again, this is things as a kid. you don't really care about. I have to check because I have some food outside. Um, the reality is, uh, this guy would always talk about his voluntary work, and I don't know why. As a kid, he was super popular. I know why, because he had cash. But as a kid, I didn't understand that cash equal popularity. So I wanted to become his friend because he was popular. And it's funny because during the class he would talk about, oh, we went to help people, and I'm gonna tell you what I remember. They helped people in Ecuador building building a well, right? They spent like a weekend, and it was like, oh, this great thing that they did. Then when you were talking one on one on him, and the guy was like 11, 12 years old. I was 11, 12 years old too, but it's like, dude, we had this villa, we had this many rooms, and you're like, dude, you're helping poor village build a well. Congratulations, but you're living better than a totality of this village that you're helping. And you shouldn't live in condition that you don't want to live to just to make it seem like it's genuine. But it doesn't feel genuine when you're going somewhere and you're saying, I'm helping those people, but it's not a vacation, like Hunter said. And it sucks because I was hearing this, I was hearing him talk about this in class, and I was like, dude, what a cool guy. Then I would listen to him talk about this, the reality of it, about the nice villa, the fact that they had an amazing pool. They had this huge pool. It was nuts. They had this pool, this humongous pool of probably drinkable water, but they were building a well because the village didn't have water. Does that make sense to you? Because it doesn't to me. So yeah, so long story short, um, as a kid, I still felt like, wow, this guy is helping, and he has this villa. As an adult, I'm like, dude, it wasn't really helping. You were taking a vacation and make it seem like, oh, we're doing something good. You understand?
To clean up something, and you get to find out a better person for yourself, right? It doesn't sound too bad on paper, but then you kind of like look into it, and the opportunities are all manufactured situations of poverty and need, advertised to wealthy Western kids as opportunities for growth and appeal and.
Holy shit. Okay, so this goes deep. Oh, it's separating. I'm sorry if I'm not focused. I'm very hyperactive today. I don't know why. Maybe because we had a lot of sugar, but it makes me unfocused and my ADHD is kicking in. But you hear what he said? They're creating opportunity to look good. Holy.
College admission projects. So literally, it's all fabricated, like fucking Westworld or something like that. All for kids to be like, God, I'm such a good person as they fly back on their private jet. It just looks good on paper for like Harvard applications or other kind of like elite.
And to an extent, I think why the kid was so cool was that he was doing something good. I don't think the kid realized that he was 11. How could he realize that, yo, we're not doing something okay because we're having his villa. We're kind of helping the poor, but we're living the rich lifestyle. You know, there's this amazing episode of How I Met Your Mother, where Barney he does a public soup, and he works at a public soup, and he's dealing with these products, and you realize that rich people sent in like caviar, they send in truffle, and Barney puts them in his pocket and feed the homeless some less quality food. Like, you're not really helping, you're profiting. And the kid didn't know that his parents were fabricating this. They were possibly trying to teach him a good lesson by helping, but the lesson was, I mean, we went to one of the best thing I did in school, and I remember this. One of the best thing I did was in my city, Lachine. There was, when I was younger, there was 3 schools. There was Dalbyville, where I used to go. There was Saint Anne, where I used to go. I didn't go, but we went there for this project, right? And there was a Saint Louis. Saint Louis was this school of public school, but for smart kid. Dalbyville was this public school that it's like in Harry Potter. So Saint Anne was this really, really rich school. It cost like 20,000 to go for 1 year. Saint Louis was for the smart kid, the really smart kid, and the review was for the leftovers, like Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, Slytherin, and Ravenclaw. So we did this project, right, where we were sold chocolate to send money to as a kind of like a whatchamacallit, as an incentive to build something. So, for example, again, I'm gonna go with the example of Ecuador. I don't know why, but we would sell chocolate that was made in Ecuador, and it was cool because we sold chocolate to neighbors and things like that. But we also understood the difference between this. I learned it in French, but it was wasn't ecology. It was, for example, like, oh, well, the farmer that are making this cacao is making enough to survive. It's not a company that's profiting off a simple farmer. The farmer is also profiting off. Um, so it was kind of cool. It was something nice. Now the issue with that is we sold this chocolate, and then we went for a walk, and that walk was like, okay, well, I'm gonna walk this amount of miles, and because we walked this amount of miles, I'm gonna make money. um and we were a bunch. We would close entire street that we were walking, and it's a good memories because we were walking and we were going through, I don't remember where we were going, but we walked for like 4 or 5 hours. Would take a bus there, and it was like, holy shit, we actually did something good. We sold chocolate for the farmers, we walked for the farmers, and we actually helped worldwide. And that was something great because I learned that, okay, well, there's people in countries that are doing the work and they're not being paid correctly. I learned that I can make a difference by helping them. I learned that there was a multiple way of making money, which was selling or doing some physical work. It taught me the greater good, right? It taught me the greater good and doing something for somebody else while expecting anything in return. My issue with this very thing is, so as I mentioned, we would sell chocolate. Let's say we would amount X amount of money, and then you get older and you're like, okay, well, they borrow this bus that costs some money, and that bus was paid by bus was paid by the chocolate we sold. So how much of the money are you truly giving back? Because you just told me to sell these chocolates to make some cash, but using the cash for something else. There was also this cooking. I went to cooking school. I didn't finish it. I went to bakery instead because cooking was too difficult. I went to cooking school, and there was a trip at the end. One of my teacher had connection in Cancun, so we went there for a month, right? And went there to do a internship for a month. Even though I wasn't in the cooking class, I was still helping because I was a nice guy. I didn't know how to say no. That's the reality. I would be in a bakery class and I would be like, okay, well, I'm still gonna sell chocolate, even though I'm not gonna go in Cancun, sorry. So we're selling chocolate, and we're selling chocolate, we're selling chocolate. And again, there was no mention of how much of the money was profit, how much of the cash we were gonna be able to have. Well, the reality is we had to pay $1,000. So for the villa and for the plane, we never knew how much cash we made. But then we went there, and the teacher was there with his family, with his 2 kids and his wife. And who paid for that trip? We did. So again, my issue here is I don't mind helping, but if I'm making money, and we're seeing a lot of company do this. There was a company I could have worked for, and they were basically saying, "Oh, we're gonna pay you to get donation, but the part of the donation that you were gonna get is for salary. If people knew that they donated to your salary, they wouldn't. When I wanted to do this, I wanted to do something good and being paid for doing something good."
School applications. It's all bullshit. Today's video is sponsored by our partners at Factor. Are you looking to eat healthier but don't have the time? Well, Factor is here for you. Factor's subscription service that brings you sure to find a dish that 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next. They're big, they're a lot. I mean, talking about like spending $6,000 to go help.
Again, the fact that he doesn't have ad on his video is good, but did you put in the video their ads? Do you know people are gonna skip over it? You gotta go bathroom. I'll be right back. Come on. Sorry about this, guys.
Somebody volunteer, spending an extreme amount of money to pretend to go cosplay as a good person. When I say it like that, it's really funny. It's really funny, but at the same time, so fucked up. And the problem.
It is fucked up because people aren't going to say, "Oh, all this money is going to go." When somebody asks you to donate for something, for example, they're going to say, "Oh, they're going to say GoFundMe," and I'm seeing GoFundMe for a lot of reasons. There was this famous thing with the Slade and sister, the TLC stars who faked their own death to get some cash. Yeah, on GoFundMe.
Some money generated to help the poverty-stricken situations they're in are rarely, if ever, given to the actual cause that they're helping, which is a lot of charities, but still, it's just volunteerism. It feels like other areas, too, where people get to go on social media and be like, we're actually going to clean up.
Even there was a huge scandal not too long ago with the completionist. Completionist was everybody thought he was a good guy. And when his mother died, he created a foundation where he would do charity work. And then people donated a lot to this charity. Then you realize that, no, he didn't give the money to charity. It all went in his pocket.
This river and do this kind of thing. We're gonna go here to help. Which there's a little meme here that I thought was pretty funny. It's the Rich Suburban Kid Spiritual Transformation Starter Pack. I know some people like this, which is rich kid, smokes a lot of pot, comes from a really good family, becomes woke, quits job, still rich. Just want to put that, still rich. Grows a man bun. This is the real essential starter. When the man bun kicks in, I need a man bun, man. As soon as I have a fucking man bun, we're starting a cult in this bitch. You hear me? Meat cult? Money. Money, 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 money.
He's making a joke out of it. He's being sarcastic, but it's still a fact, you know?
Takes year-long vacation in India, becomes Buddhist, tells everyone on Facebook how he doesn't believe in possessions on his iPhone, runs out of money, moves back home, continues to make posts about awareness. This cycle is cyclical. Sometimes you move back home and it all starts again. Smoke the pot, go, it all happens. Maybe at some point when he turns Buddhist, he cuts off the man bun, regrows it, then goes back to India. There are some people we wanted to talk about in this. There are the cornerstones of the Mount Rushmore of trustafarian.
Fucking love this. Again, this is why we clicked. Again, I didn't see this video. I didn't see it at all. So I saw the one on the left, the far left, not the far left, but I mean the first one on the left. I'm trying to get my phone to charge, but I'm not sure how to using this because it's supposed to charge, and of course this is my battery, right? Still recording, nice. Okay, cool. Come on, baby. Please help me out. Okay, it's not charging. What if I did like this? Haha! It is. Okay, perfect. Don't move, Inky. Don't move. Okay. Don't move, baby. Please. Good.
Which first off, we'll start off with probably the head eagle, the head shaman of it all, which is Shannon Blake. You've probably seen, this beautiful.
Dude, I saw a lot of video from her. Only fan too.
Woman pop up in your time. Oh, Shannon Blake. I tell you what, no wonder. Well, looking up Shannon Blake tickets on Ticketmaster, no wonder those motherfuckers are sold out. Looking how she dresses on stage, god damn. Hey, my ass became a whole lot more spiritual after looking up some Shannon Blake songs, god damn. And it's after she had a child, which, listen up, ladies.
It's always this. Yeah. For example, and again, it's like, this rock star is getting involved. And this, in this kind of like a good thing. So this rock star is going to get involved into this movement, and nobody gives a shit about the movement. So, for example, we saw this a lot with the ASL back in the YouTube early days. So the ASL was a sickness that took away your nerve, right? And people to kind of repair that, kind of take out the focus of that, what they did was very, very simple. They said, okay, well, we're going to do a challenge where we're dumping ice bucket on our head. Now you're saying to me, Inky, the fuck ink buckets? Well, it's similar to what you would feel if you were afflicted by this sickness. And a lot of people asked for money to be donated to a foundation. And some people said, hey, give me the money. Everything that people give me, I'll give back. And then there was misuse of cash. A fatal tale.
Really no excuse. Show the picture of Shannon Blake. There's no excuse that you can have a kid, you can't have a body like that. And I'll stand by that. Not a single stretch mark. How's that possible, Nick?
Cocoa butter.
Holistic teachings. What she say? I smoked the ayahuasca with the shaman. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But Shannon Blake is a shining example of true trustafarianism culture, adopting bits and pieces of...
It sucks because when I see her, I get people that don't like her. I get people that don't like what she stands for. So she stands for this very, very, like, I'm going to share everything I share for this wealth. I'm very pure, but then come from money. And I get that people don't like that, but I don't think it makes her a bad person, per se.
Third world countries as their persona, mixing it together into an amalgamation of neo, folk, urban, bardic, LSD, kratom fever. Apparently it's ayahuasca. What the fuck is ayahuasca, actually?
It's a plant.
Is it just some other drug shit?
The shaman thing that will fucking destroy your mind.
You smoke ayahuasca to get the demons out of your head, but really it's just the fucking key that unlocks the door for them to come in.
It's actually a drink. Like, drink it.
Oh, it's a drink.
So you see, it's also, that's what I love. So there's gonna be Nick, which is one of the good friends, one of the teammates. I think he's the editor or the cameraman of Papa Meat, and he's gonna have information. So another time Hunter just comes in and he's not prepared, and then you got Nick in the background who's prepared. So it's your classical team school subject or school project where one of the kids does more work than the others. And it's funny because the kid that does the most work, even if it's really the kid that's going to talk the most in front of the class. And even though you feel like, oh, I was that kid that did more work. I was that kid. You see how dark it is? It's because it's fucking going to rain like crazy. I was that kid who made more work. I worked hard. I should have gotten a better grade. Yes and no. You were the kid that worked hard, but you were also the kid who let the other guy talk. If it was your project, so it's super funny, right? I had this project, right, where I was put with someone, and that is something I regret, right? I regret this as a kid. I regret it a lot. It was this kid, right, and this kid was being bullied a lot more than me, and he was kind of an asshole. To be honest, he was kind of an asshole. I don't think he was an asshole to begin with, but I think being bullied made him into an asshole, and that's things that happen. So this kid, we're gonna call him X. X decided, okay, well, I'm gonna be an asshole, and because X was this asshole, nobody wants to team up with him in school, right? And me, because I got ADHD and I wasn't the most studious person in the class, nobody wanted to team up with me. So at the end, me and X are alone, so we have to team up together. So X has a project in mind, and I don't like the subject. I don't like the way he's approaching the subject. I don't remember what it was, but I remember it being very radical. And so I tell X, hey, I don't want to do this. Let's do something else. So X clearly told me, fuck you, we're gonna do the way I want. And I told him, fuck you, I'm not going to help you because you're not listening to me. I've thrown out a couple of IDs and you don't give a shit about my couple of IDs. So at the end, X is like, okay, well, I'm gonna do the project, and if we have a bad grade, it's going to be your fault. I said, okay, no problem. And that time I didn't like his ID, but he was willing to do all the work. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck him. And I remember him screwing me over. And what he did was he put in the PowerPoint, he put it in yellow, so it didn't appear a lot, and then he apologized and everything. But I feel bad because I was mad at him for doing this, but I didn't do the project. I just let him do all the work. Of course, he wanted to do the work. That was my excuses. It's like, oh well, he wants to do the work. He can do it however he wants. But then again, I couldn't complain about the work if I didn't do anything about it.
I think so. Okay.
Ayahuasca, dude. When are we gonna get some ayahuasca? Where's my chug jug? Need to get some ayahuasca chug jug. She's described as an e-girl conspiracy theorist. Her songs on TikTok have gone viral. This is the one that blew up and has hate baited everyone. Do you think this is for hate bait? She's like,
the hate bait is something kind of cool. So you're seeing a lot of people do it. You see Bad Baby. You're seeing this guy on TikTok that I was talking about last week. That is basically a troll, and he pretends like he abused his girlfriend. He doesn't. There's local that are taking it on purpose. I've been watching Boogie 9. I've been watching a Dick Tractor channel for Boogie 29988, and he does it. Hate baiting is actually super common as a fact of acting in a certain way, knowing people are going to react in a negative fashion, because negative attention is as powerful as positive attention in the algorithm.
I think that she believes it.
It's genuine.
We probably can't play the song, but we can at least have the lyrics up here. God, Shannon, what I wouldn't give to just be in that car with you. That Holy Mountain white hat, though, is pretty crazy.
What's crazy is people love her music.
The biggest part of that, she's talking about using pyramids for time traveling. Yeah, you know what? So what?
Pyramids, because pyramidal scheme.
Shannon Blake likes to time travel with the fucking pyramids, dude. You know what? Have you drank the ayahuasca with the shamans in Peru?
I'm going to with her.
I'm going to in my dreams with her. This is me an astral
Andrew likes a girl, and I do like her too. She's hot.
Projecting myself front row at one of her concerts. Oh, dude, do your thing. Woo! actually getting too sucked in. I'm feeling too much of the vibe, dude. She refers to her followers as little shroomies.
It's such a world, and it's not because for Shane Blake, it's natural for her. She's something that she's stuck to. So I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be a dick. I don't mean to be a dick. I'm gonna sound like a dick, but I don't mean to. For example, right? You have this group of friends that are super into Star Wars. So they'll be talking about Star Wars, and when they're gonna be talking about Star Wars, they're gonna be talking about, oh, I like this character, I like this character, I like this character. Most people don't know that character. So in the case, however, I was talking about porn rot brain and political rot brain. So for her, little shroomies is something she probably heard something. It's super kind. It's super nice. She's talking about a lot about drugs, about holistic things, with a group of friends that are in this belief or that are in this mental state. Mental state being they're embracing this culture that is Rastafarian. And what I think it's sad is because if somebody calls me little shroomies, say, what the fuck did you just call me? I know that is not an insult, but that's not a compliment either. But for her, it's something that she heard and she repeats. You understand? It's like the N-words. Nobody's born as a kid and say, hey, the N-word is going to be something cool to say. But then again, you hear your friends say it, you hear your... You hear it in songs, and you're like, dude, if everybody says it, I should say it too. But then you realize it's a fucked up word, and you shouldn't use it, right? I was lucky enough to be in a position where I heard a lot of bad words. My parents, especially my father, was swearing a lot, so I grew up not wanting to swear. I grew up not thinking that swearing is bad because I knew my parents were doing it. My mom, she swears like a fucking trucker. And I was aware that every single swear wasn't good. So even racial slur, I knew they weren't good. And I was so traumatized as a kid by that. Fuck. My mom, especially my mom, we would go to like a school meeting. And my teacher would tell my mom how bad I was as a kid. My mom, she was acting sweet in front of the teacher. Said, "Oh, I'll talk to him." In the car, she was swearing like a fucking storm. She was using fucking hurtful words. So my mom, she's Egyptian, and she used to call me Yatmar, Nalbuk, Naldinak, and for her, these are normal, but these are horrible terms like fucking idiot or son of a bitch. And to me, my own mom saying this, it was really hurtful. So I grew up not wanting to say slanders, to say racial slur. I grew up not wanting to swear. And luckily enough, when I was understanding that, well, it depends on the situation. Sometimes it's going to be funny to swear. I was old enough to be mature enough about a swear. And understanding that there's real consequence to words. Like, I don't know, like for example, somebody with autism, right? There's a lot of word for autism. There's a lot of there's a lot of hurtful, like it's like a slur, right? Towards people with a mental state. And I learned very quickly that you shouldn't use them, even though some people think it's funny. You shouldn't use them. And there's also this place of understanding as a biracial kid. Me being biracial, I've learned that it was like term that was not cool. As an ADHD kid, I was aware that mental issues, mine was considered mental issues. So again, I shouldn't be saying this, but there's cases of autism which are very severe. There are cases of Asperger which are very severe. There are cases of mental disorder that are Down syndrome that are very severe. And then even I'm watching this channel, right, with Don, getting down with Sean and Marley, and there's two kids with Down syndrome, two dudes with Down syndrome, and one of them is a bit smarter than the other one. So there's like level, and I know it's wrong to say this, but it like, yeah, they're different, but there's still two people that are affected by Down syndrome. So it doesn't matter how bad it is, doesn't matter how you treat it, they're both in the same situation. So ADHD being treated as a mental disorder, and even it's funny, this is something I shouldn't say because again I'm gonna look like a fucking racist, but as a biracial kid it was hard at work, at school, at work not even, but at school it was very hard because, oh my god, I shouldn't say this, but I'm French Canadian, right? My father is Quebecois, my mom she's Egyptian. I would be hanging out with French Canadian, which are Quebecois. Their grandparents were born here. Their parents were born here, so they were like kind of the locals, if you will. I was too much of an immigrant to chill with them, even if I was born here. And for the immigrants, I was like, okay, well, you're white. What are you doing with us? And I was a biracial kid, and a biracial kid, it's really hard. You're never too much of an immigrant to hang out with an immigrant. You're never too white to hang out with a white. So you're stuck in between. And it sucks because, again, I was like, dude, I don't belong anywhere. And these were really hurtful. I would hear some slur from my friends from other countries. I would hear some slur from people that were from here, and both were super hurtful. And you're sitting here and like, I know it's not right. I'll just say shroomies again. We're making fun of the fact that she called people my little shroomies. But it could be okay, the sweetest term. Um, you see all of these action movie, right? And as a sign of respect, as a sign of like endearment, you can say, "You son of a bitch," and it's meant as a caring, but it's not caring,
Role model for countless wealthy kids who idolize her lifestyle. People, especially on Reddit and other places, are very quick to go to Shannon Blake and say that her parents are wealthy and that she comes from a place of privilege. How dare you, Shannon Blake? But actually, on contrary, that's not true. She made a post that said that for the people in the back, I'm Native American, Hispanic, and Irish. A crazy mix. Just a dash of Irish on top of that. I grew up in a family that speaks a fluent Spanish, visiting my relatives in Mexico, often eating homemade tacos. Why is that relevant? Your back's against the wall when you're just like...
I feel bad that we're gonna be pointing that out because again, for her, eating tacos is very Mexicano, and again, it's this principle of I don't think that this is relevant versus I think it's relevant. This is thing that I don't think is a bad thing versus it is a bad thing.
I'm a Hispanic and I eat homemade tacos, okay? No, okay, we went to Taco Bell once or twice, but it was just because it was around the corner. God! I grew up doing plant medicine, burning sage, doing sweat lodges and TPIS, and connecting with my ancestors as part of my culture. My great-great-grandfather was a famous Cherokee chief, so please stop telling me what their race is and what they can't do. You are unaware, that's offensive. If someone has light skin, blah, 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 being rude and disrespectful is offensive.
It's so complicated because, again, if we're talking about this, and there's so many subjects from that, if we're talking about the whole pronouns war, right? And you see somebody that's clearly a dude, and you assume that he's a dude, it's like, no, I don't identify as a dude. But physically speaking, this person is a man, and physically speaking, it's if you don't know them, you don't know the pronouns. So this could be like, if you look at me, right? You look at this guy and you wouldn't know that when my parents is Egyptian. You would look at this guy and say, oh, he's French Canadian. And the reality is, I'm more so French Canadian because I was raised in Canada. I was raised in this culture. Culturally speaking, I'm more Canadian than Egyptian. But in my DNA, in my blood, I'm half, And like, for example, with her, she was probably raised in a very like American standardized family, which is why she's acting like she is. But she has a background, and like, dude, it's not because I'm more like that I'm not those other things.
You say those hateful things to other people. You know what? F***ing true. To give her credit, I want to say that I don't think that she's a rich kid. I will give Shannon Blake my undivided attention. I will. She's the perfect thing to actually inspire trustafarian.
What a fucking simp.
She's up there. She's a tender, beautiful soul. She just uses kind of like a buzzword salad mix of it, and it's all kind of the same kind of stuff, whatever. But, she's doing her own thing, but that doesn't stop.
See, buzzword salad thing? That's exactly what I mean. She's using terms that she knows are endearing. She's using terms that people are gonna... They're probably like... There's this expression for Italian. I was watching Sopranos, and they're using the term marron a lot. You don't know what's marron, but you know that they're saying it a lot, so it's endearing. And if you're watching The Sopranos, you're gonna tend to say marron, right?
The fact that, she's the staple for what trustafarians aim to be. With over 1.1 million followers on Instagram, Shannon Blake calls herself an affirmation musician full of vibes, positivity, and for only $12.50 a month, you can see her boobies. Should we say that? She does have an OnlyFans, so I bet she's doing pretty good. Star from the bottom, now we're here. Not Drake, though.
She is cute though. She is very attractive.
Because a security guard got shot or something. I would hate to be Drake right now. Who the fuck am I kidding? I would love to be Drake right now. Are you kidding me?
Well, he's being called out as a
Maybe I wouldn't.
Yeah, Drake. The whole thing going on right now with Drake, and it's funny because like these are not new stuff. These allegations aren't new. What he's being accused of isn't new, but it's just going through the ringer right now.
To be called Drake then right now. Her OnlyFans says you get an uncensored look into her life, foot emoji, barefoot dancing naked in nature, yoga, hula hooping, and playing outdoors in the ocean, waterfalls, hot springs, mountains. So we got like $12.50 to spare, don't we?
Yeah, that's in the budget.
So that's a business expense, I'm pretty sure.
See, I like that because even though it's OnlyFans, there is one thing. For example, like it's funny. I did a mukbang on corn addiction, right? I just said so, but I don't have a problem with OnlyFans as a platform. I don't have a problem with people doing OnlyFans, but if it's tough because and this is because again, this is my background where I was raised in Montreal. In Montreal there's a lot of homeless people, and we're seeing them a lot in the metro, and there's these homeless people that are basically begging for cash, and they're like, okay, well, maybe begging for cash, and there's these people that have this violin, and they have this guitar, and they can sing, and they have these talents, and they're offering you a service like, hey, I'm begging for cash, but I'm singing. I'm begging for cash, but I'm doing something. I'm begging for cash, but I have something to offer. You're always more tempted to do this. So where am I going with this? So Shane Blake, yeah, she gets naked, but it's also something that she believes in. She's promoting the message that she's sending to her song, to her OnlyFans, and at the end of the day, it's only a pair of boobs and tits and the vagina and the ass, and it's only that, and it does sound like it's a classic basic OnlyFans, but you're offering me more, so it's more tempting, right? There's this girl, I'm following her on Instagram, Dalvin Sunny, and she's this cosplayer, she's this Twitch, and she's very beautiful. She knows that she's beautiful, and she sexualized herself into I don't know. She sexualized herself into this anime. She talks dirty. She's acting like she would act like somebody who's a sex worker. I mean this in the most positive fashion, but she's not a sex worker. So what she does is, well, I'll take advantage of the fact that I'm viewed as sexual. I'm viewed as beautiful, but I'm not an OnlyFans girl, so I'm not gonna talk as an OnlyFans girl. And I respect that. I truly, truly, truly respect that, because at the end of the day, it's who you are. It's not necessarily. For example, I know I'm not going to be an athlete because of who I am. I know I'm going to become. I knew I'm never going to be an athlete because I'm physically short. I wasn't physically gifted, so I said, okay, well, I'm not this. If I was blessed as an athlete, even though I would never have made. Knowing what I know right now, right? Knowing that social media is a thing and everything like that. So, for example, I would have this athletic gift of being able to run. And I would be a runner. I wouldn't be a sport athlete, a runner, professional runner, but I could create some content around running. What is it to be running, right? And then you would do. There's this kid who was an ex-bodybuilder, and now you can see him making a ton of they're funny TikToks. I don't know the dude's name, but he's making a lot of funny TikToks, and they're still around the gym. They're still based around the gym, and he was an ex-bodybuilder. And it's nice because that was his background. That was what he was known for. He turned into passion. Turned into something that's more. Now, what I'm going to do is, you see the battery's super low. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to pause this. I'm going to charge the phone. I'll be right back.